Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that's going to help you become your best self. And today we are talking about not everyone wants you to heal, focusing on self-development. But before we jump into the episode, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on Instagram. I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. I would love to hear from you and chat if you have any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or if you just want to say hey and hi to me, I would love that. I'd love to get to know you and just chat online. You are also welcome to send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. That is also another option for you. Or my website is up and running, sabrinajoy.com, and you are welcome to go there and sign up for my soon-to-come newsletter, and which I think is coming in March. And also to send me a message there, you can do that through the website. So all of that information is available for you down in the show notes on how to do that. But again, I cannot wait to hear from you. But let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Again, today we are talking about not everyone wants you to heal. So when I started back to therapy, and this was probably 7, 8 years ago, when I started back to therapy after being confronted, that's like I was really thinking of what is the best word for me to describe what happened after being confronted with my cutting behavior. I was physically cutting myself and hurting myself, and the issues that went along with that behavior and whatever else was going on. There seemed to be this expectation that I would heal from my issues right away. And I don't mean the next day, but soon. It was as if therapy was going to be this magic thing that made me all better after only a few months. Right. And I'm sure there are people, that are only needing a few months of therapy to get back on track. And just, get back to it and don't really have lingering problems, which is great. I think that's fantastic, but that was not the case for me. And I don't ever expect that to be the case for me because of so much trauma and issues that I've gone through. I know that it's a long haul thing for me. Right now, I've been in therapy right now with the current therapist I have for a year and a half or so. And I don't see that changing. I don't see diminishing from weekly visits to bi-weekly visits because I need it. I need that continued support. I need that help. I need that perspective. I need that assistance in my life. And so, I will be honest with you, it was annoying. It was annoying that someone in my life had full expectation that I was going to be able to just heal very, very quickly. And since someone in my life only saw therapy as a temporary solution, attitudes started to creep up, when it didn't appear that I was getting better according to their timetable. And also the audacity of someone to really be like, oh my gosh, it doesn't seem like you're getting better, or it doesn't seem like it's helping, or it doesn't seem like anything is changing is immensely annoying because how the heck are they supposed to know that anything is changing, besides them maybe seeing some outward change or, change when you have a conversation and dialogue that would lean towards whatever you're going through, you know what I mean? But a lot of that change is internal. A lot of that changes in your mind, in the way that you make decisions, how you come to conclusions, how you decide to act. And I don't care how close people are in your life. It doesn't mean that they're going to be able to catch all of these little things. So for me, that was a little annoying, especially when they're dictating this timetable. And it was, again, one of the most terrible things ever, an unknown expectation, which we know here, unacceptable. Absolutely not. And that's one of the problems with emotional healing. Most times other people can't see if anything is getting better or not, right? They're not in your mind. They're not in your heart. They don't know if things are becoming harder to get over because you uncover more trauma that you kind of blocked out or didn't realize was actually an issue. Things will become uncovered in therapy, in counseling over time. So you can definitely uncover things out of the blue. And some people are uncomfortable with this because they believe your healing is a reflection on them. So if you are not healing at the appropriate time, they're like, oh, this looks really bad on me. So if it's like a friend or a spouse or a parent or anyone like that, or maybe someone that it's like a mentor of yours and they're like, okay, I'm going to, you know, encourage this person and mentor them and, kind of lead them in a way to, get back into this like journey of feeling more regular and healthier and stronger. But if you're not able to do it on their timetable, then they're like, oh, time's ticking. Like, what are we going to do here? And they think it's a reflection on them, which isn't true, But think about how many things we think are true and believe we think other people care about, right? And it's just our own minds making it up. Like, it's nuts. It's crazy. Like, how much we think that all these little things that people we think about us or do think about us or consider about us or that we think are reflected on us matter. And when they really don't matter, or a lot of people just don't care because they're so caught up in what they're doing. It's just so interesting. So on one side of it, some people get overly concerned with you not healing emotionally at their desired speed for like whatever reason, right? But on the other side, I want to talk about today specifically are those that don't really want us healing at all. Like there's those people in our lives that like are like, no, don't do that. Like you don't need to do that. It's unnecessary. It's not going to be good for you, right? And, I sometimes thought the person that I was referring to before who was like, you're not healing. It doesn't seem like you're healing, fast enough for me. I sometimes thought that person had expectations on how fast I should be healing emotionally. Maybe didn't want me to heal at all because they would tell me to try something or a different therapist or just stop altogether. Like, and I was kind of like creeping in those thoughts of like, do you not want me to like heal and change and become stronger like at all? Like, what's the deal here? What's the issue? They just, but luckily that wasn't the case. Luckily it wasn't the case. They just believed in giving in sooner than later, not wanting to just like, stay the course, and thought things only got better if you tried something like extreme, like if you just went all in, like for example, a diet, like you would just have to give up all of like the quote unquote bad things and just go full force into working out like every day of the week and then doing this, that, and the other to make a change actually happen. But so luckily that wasn't the issue. It's just like their own thing. But there will be some people that try to convince you to constantly try new ways of healing yourself all the time because they know it's smart. It's devious, but it's smart. They know if you don't stick to something long enough, you won't end up healing. They're like, if this person has no determination, they have no intention of having longevity with this kind of thing to make themselves better and, actually continue on this healing journey, they know if they're continually like suggesting other things and then getting you to jump from thing to thing, then you won't. You just won't. Or there will be others. Like this, definitely there's different ways that people really want to like get in your life and get in your biz and be like, I don't think healing is good for you because it benefits them, obviously. But there are others that will convince you you're fine and don't need help. Like you feel like you need help. You've come to this process in your mind and decision of like, I think I need help. And they're like, no, you're fine. You're fine. They will say that, therapy is a waste. Maybe it's a waste of money if you don't have insurance, or it's a waste of time. It won't do anything for you. And maybe suggest that you just like hang in there a little bit longer. And, because that will somehow fix everything, right? It's like those kind of suggestions of people, you're pouring your heart out to them. You're telling them everything that you're going through, the hard, really bad, terrible things, the thoughts that you're having. Maybe you are feeling suicidal. Maybe you're having deep depression. Maybe your anxiety is just overtaking your life so much that it's so hard to function. And they're like, no, it's fine. You're good. And you're like, I'm not good. And they're like, no, trust me, you're good. It's because they view you in a different lens because it caters to them better to have you broken than healthy. Like it helps them. It's gravy for them, right? They're like, no, you're fine. Because you're fine just the way that you are. because it helps me. And I know it's not helping you, which is bomb.com, right? So they are like, no, you're good. Just chill. You'll be fine. Because broken people, people that are like needing to work on their healing, their emotional healing, broken people serve other people's needs way better because you can manipulate them so much easier. Think about that. You might be like all of a sudden realizing like, wait, other people are trying to convince me that I'm fine, even though I feel broken, or they're trying to convince me to try all kinds of different kinds of therapies and self-helps, but then like telling me to quit after like 30 days and just continuing to push me from thing to thing, and nothing's getting better. Nothing is helping. Wow. So maybe that's me. And if that's you, I want you to consider this whole conversation is really here for me to like kind of get you to realize maybe that is something you're struggling with, or maybe it's something that someone else is struggling with. It's very important that, a lot of times I'll get on here and I'll just do a very traditional kind of thing where I'm talking about people pleasing, or, being honoring your emotions and things like that, which still plays into today. But, I'll talk about something like stress and something that seems like a very common topic, and I'll give you tips on how to overcome it, and I'll still motivate you and encourage you. But sometimes, and those are great, but sometimes we just need to have a long convo about how we're being treated badly or how we're being done dirty, and how we need to wake up and no longer allow it to happen in our lives. Because again, broken people are people that are in the midst of needing healing, emotional healing. Broken people serve other people's needs better because they can be manipulated so much easier. Because like when you're not strong enough to stand up for yourself or see how you're being used or told one thing when another is happening, when they're like, do the bait and switch, they're like, oh, it's going to be fine, or this is going to turn out great. And really secretly behind the scenes, they're like, okay, this is going to turn out terribly. They're going to continue to fall back into, my safety net of needing me. And it's just going to continue in this like crazy loop, hamster wheel of them never leaving me because I find ways to convince that they need me, but they're still broken and they'll never get better. And these might sound like extremes to you, but honestly, these are like regular things that happen to like regular people. And I have experienced some of them myself. But yeah, when you're not strong enough, you can be used. You can be led into toxic relationships and convinced you need to work harder at terrible jobs, and abused because it's explained as something normal that happens to people, then tossed away because you're told that you deserve it. Like, think about all these crazy manipulative things that are not uncommon. So again, if you feel like a light bulb's going off in your head and you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening to me, good. Stay here. Keep listening. Even if you feel like it's not, it's still important to know and be aware of so that you don't get caught in this like snake pit of, problems that are just going to be tacked on to the other things that you're trying to heal from, right? But I know we can all become strong enough to see this abuse and selfish behavior for what it is and break free from it. That is the point. That is the goal. That is what I want you to like open your mind and like widen your perspective to understand, retain, remember in case it happens. We can understand that these people that don't want us to heal are only preventing us from doing so because it makes their life easier. It makes their lives easier. It cushions it. It allows for them to push something onto someone else, whether it's just to do stuff, it's pain, the projection of pain, whatever it is. It's whatever it is. That's just like what they want to do. We can understand that, these people just don't care. They don't give a rip. And how convenient for them, how nice that they have been able to find a way for them to just be able to like do whatever they want and treat people this way to better themselves. And, another reason not everyone wants you to heal, in addition to people just wanting to manipulate you, is because you're easier to step on and step over when you're in pain and you're needing help. So it's easier to like take advantage of you and your situation for their gain. And so like think about like being at a job and someone like wanting help, like you wanting help to be better at something or to understand how to deal with a situation better, or you've been given notes and like feedback on like what you need to improve on, and then people that want to succeed above you tell you, no, you don't have to worry about that, or you do it this way or whatever. And then you still are not making any growth or any progress because you still need to heal and change, but they're able to step on top of you because they know that you're not, and they're going to keep you stuck here while they travel up, right? And so it oh, it's so frustrating even talking about it that people like this exist. Um but terrible people do this. They do. We think that they don't, but they do. Because unfortunately not everyone is good. And not only that, some good people have bad moments and seasons of life. There are people that have been good, quote unquote good, and do what's right a lot of their lives, and then they fall into whatever influence or crowd or decisions that they've made in their mind for whatever reason, and then they start acting like this, right? And then they might hopefully dip out of that again, since they like dipped in and then they dipped out. Hopefully that will happen. But yeah, so you can't just assume that like since this person's been so good and all of a sudden they are shifting to this behavior that they're going to do it differently. They might not. And I'm not saying you have to be paranoid about everyone. I'm just saying like look for the signs or like the red flags, like people like to say these days, because unfortunately people like to be terrible, right? But we need to realize our healing only has to do with us. And we need to seek it out at every turn, right? We need to not let others get in our way of healing either. We need to like be on this like trajectory to be like, okay, let's heal. Let's figure this out. Let's make changes. Let's make growth. Let's move forward. Let's not allow whatever this is that you're going through continue to hold you back or hold you down or create chaos in your life anymore. Let's move forward. But we have to realize that it's about us. It's the us show. It's the me show. It's the you show. It's us. And we need to not let other people get in the way, even though they're like pretending that maybe they're being helpful, and just be like, listen, I need to kind of do this, on my own. Healing is a journey about ourselves. It really is. And what changes we want and need to make. It's all about what you need to do for you. Okay, it's mostly a solo project that has helpful visitors. Okay, so helpful visitors can be seen as like doctors and therapists and counselors, and maybe someone that you super trust that's a mentor or whatever. But it's not going to be like this big group of people that's going to come together and help, figure out what needs to happen. It's going to be primarily you, because you have to decide that you want to. You have to decide you get to keep going. You have to decide like what decisions you want to make to choose what is right in the moment and what's not, and how to move forward with like based on what progress is being made and changes that might need to be made. It's all about you. And you have to remember that. It's like one of the most important things, because if you think it needs to involve everyone else, even if someone as close as like your spouse, your partner, your best friend, your kid, like whomever, it's not, because it's you and it's your mind and it's your situation and struggles that you're dealing with. So you don't need to rope everyone in. It's not necessary. If you want to have support, that's different than letting someone else be in there dictating what's going to happen, right? It's a very, very big difference. And I also want to mention that healing can be seen like in so many different ways and different amounts, because this is where the comparison game starts to get played, and it's unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. You're healing from, the same thing as someone else could take less time or more time, right? You and Susie Joe could both be dealing with like severe anxiety, and maybe whatever, decisions you make to do in therapy and self-care to practice outside of that, and habits and things that you start in your life, like that could cause your healing journey to take less time. Or maybe it'll take longer because you start, again, uncovering things that you didn't realize that you were struggling with. But how long it takes or like how hard it is, because a lot of times these journeys are hard and difficult, more than we could ever have anticipated, or whether it's the same as someone else it doesn't matter. None of that matters. It really doesn't. Comparing your healing to someone else will only keep you down and maybe cause you to give up. Because if you're like, oh, well, Susie Joe is healing a lot quicker from her anxiety than I am, and that just means that everything I'm doing isn't worth anything and I just need to give up, or I need to try the exact way that Susie Joe's doing it and see if that helps. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, despite the fact, even if the problem seems identical, it's not, because your mind is not identical to Susie Joe's or whomever. It's just not. It's just not. It's not. Everything might look the same on the outside, but in the inside, it's so different. Vastly different. Okay? So you don't want to like keep yourself down or cause yourself to give up. Because if you give up, you'll never know how much better you could be if you kept going, right? And comparison is always the thief of joy. It's always the thief of everything. It'll take everything from you in one moment. We need to prevent that. We need to be like on top of that. It's important in everything, in comparisons, in everything. Stop comparing yourself to anyone, because it's a waste of time. It's not really going to propel you further in the future, to closer to achieving your goals, right? Because you're just like, well, I'm not as great as them. What should I do now? And if you try to do exactly what they did, that might not work out either, right? And then you just wasted time. Just continue on your journey. Adjust based upon what you know you can do or cannot do. Need to change, whatever, right? So anyway, focus on yourself. Stop comparing yourself. But also, for your healing journey, it isn't your concern. I'm here to tell you, because it's kind of like, what people say about you isn't your business. It isn't your concern whether or not someone doesn't want you to heal or celebrate the progress you're currently making. Because a lot of times we get all hurt because we're like, oh my gosh, I'm healing so much and no one's celebrating it, or no one's seeing it, or no one's like, understanding that I'm getting better. Because you look the same and you might feel the same and you might interact the same because you haven't been able to fully flush everything out, or like whatever's happening. But it isn't your concern. It isn't your concern whether they care or not. People are going to think what they want, and that's on them. Just like what you think is on you about someone else or whatever else is going on. They can think what they want. That is their right. You need to keep your laser focus on yourself and do the work that needs to be done to become your best self. That should be your main focus, your main goal. Keep yourself on lock. So that brings me to sharing with you 5 tips on how to stay focused on yourself when you're working on your self-development, which could be your emotional healing, and not get distracted by what other people are saying or trying to convince you to do, because there's people out there like that. So just 5 quick ones. Let's jump into it. Number 1, remember that no one else knows you better than you. I know this sounds like a random tip. I know this is very much like, what? I was at a tip, Sabrina. Well, it's a tip because I'm telling you to remember that no one else knows you better than you. Even if they claim they do, which a lot of times, like your best buddy, your mom and dad, your spouse, partner can be like, oh, I know you way better than you think you do, or I know you the best. They don't know everything because they're not in your mind. They're not in your head. They're not there. They're not there chilling and sitting around, okay? Seeing everything that happens. They don't know every thought that goes in and out and all around. No one knows you better than you. So take other people's advice and opinions with a grain of salt, because if they tell you that you would better from this, that, and the other, and you know that that's not true, go with your gut. Go with your own decision. You don't have to lean into other people's opinions and advice just because they have like whatever experience, or they're someone super close to you, so you feel like you have to do it just to like be nice. No, we don't have to like just be nice when it has to do with our mental health. We do not. That is not how it goes. That's not going to make you better. That's not going to help you continue on this like journey for emotional healing to become your best self. It's not. Okay? We don't just need to be nice when it has to do with our mental health. We don't. Please don't. Stop doing that. We don't need to do that. Okay? No one knows you better than you. You can make your own decisions. You can trust yourself to understand whether something is going to work for you or not. If you're unsure, okay, maybe decide to try it out. But as soon as you figure out whether it does or it doesn't, then you can go with that next decision and then progress forward. Remember that. Number 2, take small steps along the way to achieving emotional health. A lot of times you can fall off the wagon or the journey of taking care of yourself, your emotional health, self-development, however you want to look at it, because we lay out this big, large plan. I think of a really big roll of that construction paper that you would see at school, the really big rolls. I remember distinctly having to tear off really big rolls when I was doing cheerleading and we had to make signs for football and wrestling and whatever. I think of that, where you want to just tear off this really big piece of paper and you want to write everything down, and there's this big, huge plan and you feel overwhelmed and you're like, this is too much. What am I supposed to be doing? You take it slow. That's what you do. Instead, you take step by step. You're like, okay, let's kind of think of this goal, this healing plan as in 3 parts, and then let's just think of this first part. Let's not even think of 2 and 3. We'll come to that. Those might even look different depending upon how part 1 turns out, right? Okay, let's focus on part 1. Okay, so maybe we'll break part 1 into 4 things, and maybe we're still feeling overwhelmed, so let's focus on the first 2. Okay, we'll do this, and then we'll progress to this. And then we will revisit the plan, and then work on 3, and then 4. And then after 4 works out, reevaluate what's going on and reflect on how it worked. Then we can work on moving to section 2. You know what I mean? So really break it down to small steps so it doesn't feel overwhelming, so it feels like something that you can continue to move forward with. It feels good, it feels right, and you're not going to just want to stop and give up because it becomes too much. So take small steps along the way to achieving your emotional health. It'll be much easier and a better way for you to be able to handle it all. Okay, so number 3, celebrate your progress along the way. Make sure you celebrate it. Make sure, if you did break your plan down and you're just focusing on 1 and 2 right now and you have achieved number 1, you feel good, you're celebrate that progress. Even if you have to do it alone, even if whomever is closest to you and you're like, oh, I feel like I've really overcome this one thing, or I've gotten better at this, or I'm making progress, and they're like, oh, it doesn't really seem like you are, and you're like, well, I know that I am, so I'm going to celebrate that. I'm going to feel good about that. That means that I get to watch a movie tonight or get a coffee or whatever, pat myself on the back because I am making progress and I see that. And even if you're having your own little party for 1 alone, it still matters. It's still important. Okay? It's still so super important. So celebrate your progress along the way, even if you have to do it alone, because it's meaningful. It'll continue to motivate you to continue working on that, to not give up, to know that it's worth it. You are worth it. I promise. Okay. Number 4, do other activities and hobbies that make you feel good and bring joy and contentment. So the more things that feel better as you progress in your healing progress, your life will be better. It'll feel better. It'll feel happier. It'll just feel easier, kind of, in a way. So you got to do those activities and those hobbies that make you feel good so that along the way, you could feel more positive about those things. Because maybe if you were dealing with anxiety or depression, even doing your favorite things was just such a bear. It's just too much. It wasn't fun. But as you're progressing and you're healing in your healing journey and things are becoming better and more clear, more understanding about yourself, then you're like, okay, well, I actually enjoy yoga more because I'm not sitting there thinking in meditation about how terrible I feel about myself, but I'm really thinking wow, I'm really progressing and understanding myself better. And this just feels more freeing and not like I am just saying all these negative things to myself, right? So do the activities and hobbies that make you feel good, make you feel happy. And those, even those experiences will get even better over time because you're making the effort to make yourself better over time. And it all works and meshes together, which is absolutely chef's kiss. Fantastic. So do those activities and hobbies. Don't like give them up. Have hope that they're going to get better and you're going to enjoy them like you did before, or maybe even more, right? You just have to continue to lean into those things, because those will also give you an outlet and something else for you to do and focus your mind on, and not always having to continually think about your emotional healing, which can become very overwhelming in itself. Okay, number 5, the last one. Number 5. Don't let your past hold you hostage. This is something I talk about a lot because I feel like a lot of us, including myself, allow ourselves to let our past hold us hostage. We do this by really feeling like whatever mistakes and failures and bad things that we have done in the past dictate what we can do and who we can be in the future. Because we think like, well, we were a really bad person in the past. That means we cannot be a good person in the future, which is not true. You can progress into that person. And there might be a lot of people that are like, trying to, bring you down by being like, well, you can't be a good person because you did this, that, and the other, and all around the town. And you're like, well, I know I did, but I've made amends and I'm moving forward and I'm no longer doing those things, right? Or if you feel like, you've been hurt and abused in the past and you think that that's all you deserve in the future, like now and in the future, that's not true. You didn't deserve those things in the first place. They just happened to you, which is unfortunate and terrible, but that does not mean that's what you deserve. And that doesn't mean that that's all you should get. You deserve like 1,000,000 times more. So you need to hold your head high and believe that and understand like, okay, I'm not going to, despite this happening in the past, that doesn't mean it needs to continue to happen in the future. Things can get better. Things can look up. It's not just like going to be this like cyclical thing that I'm stuck in where I'm just always dealing with people that want to hurt me, right? So you don't let your past hold you hostage, because if you do, you will not be able to heal emotionally, because those things will continue to weigh on you. They'll continue to drag you back to those places, that place mentally, emotionally, where you were when those things happened, and there will be no growth from it because you're continuing to allow yourself wander back into this past that you should already be well away from, right? You learned the lessons, you gleaned all the information you needed in the experience, and you want to move forward, not just continue to sit in this pit of despair back there. Okay? So don't let your past hold you hostage. You will not grow. You will not heal that way. You will not be able to focus on your own self-development. You'll easily get distracted with other people and what they want you to do, because it'll be a welcome distraction from you focusing so hard and wallowing in the sorrow of what happened before. So please don't do that. It's not helpful. And that's the end of the list. So that's everything I have to share with you in regards to how to stay focused on working on yourself, working on your emotional healing, not caring that no one else may care what progress you're making, and to not get distracted by what they want you to do, to protect yourself. And so I really hope that these tips have helped you. Again, if you find that you need additional help, I always suggest that you go hop on Google, type in keywords, and figure out what else would have lovely help you. Because even if this episode just gave you like a jump start in like, oh, I do need to focus on this and figure out like why I am so concerned with why other people don't care about my healing, and to learn how to focus more on myself so I can heal emotionally. But again, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. Please check the show notes below for notes for the show. Also, where to find me on Instagram, my website, how to send me an email. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. I'm just so excited. Thank you for listening, downloading, sharing the show. I appreciate every single one of you all the time. I just can't believe it. When I check and see and I'm like, oh my gosh, this many people have listened and downloaded my shows. Like, I am just in awe and surprise and gratefulness. So thank you again. But until next time, have a good one, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.